7 signs mold might be hiding in your house, even if you can't see it. One of the biggest misconceptions I run into is people think if they can't see mold, they don't have a mold problem. And honestly, I understand why. Most mold problems don't start where you can see them. They start underneath your house, in the crawl space, inside walls, in places most homeowners never look. I've been in construction for about 25 years, and I've been doing mold remediation and encapsulation for years now. And I can tell you this, by the time you actually see mold growing somewhere, it's usually been there for quite a while. I'm Nathan Engel, and I own Ninth Standard. We specialize in crawl space encapsulation and mold remediation right here in Western North Carolina. Today, I want to walk you through the biggest warning signs that mold may already be living in your house. So let's get into it. Sign number 1, your house has that musty smell, just ooh. That's probably the most common one. You walk into a room and something just smells off. Maybe it's a musty, maybe it's damp, maybe you can't quite put your finger on it. A lot of people light candles, they spray air fresheners, they open windows, but here's the thing, you're not fixing the problem, you're just covering up the symptom. A healthy house shouldn't smell damp, and when it does, that's usually your house trying to tell you something. Sign number 2, your home always feels humid. If your windows are sweating, your room feels sticky, if you constantly feel like there's moisture in the air, pay attention to that, because mold needs certain things to grow. It needs food, water, time, temperature. The climate here in Western North Carolina gives mold plenty of opportunities. If moisture gets involved, you've got 2 of the 3 ingredients already. One of the first things we do is figure out where that moisture's coming from. Because water is always telling a story, you just have to know how to read it. Sign number 3, you're having health issues you can't explain. But let me say this, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to diagnose anybody, but I hear the same things over and over from homeowners. Runny nose, sore throat, headaches, sinus irritation. And then we get underneath the house and we find mold. A lot of people think mold itself is always what makes you sick. The point is this, if your house has moisture issues and you're having symptoms, it's worth investigating. Sign number 4, water under your house. This one's simple. If you've got standing water in your crawl space, mold's not far behind. And what surprises me is how many homeowners have never actually been underneath their own house. And I get it. Most people don't want to crawl around in a crawl space. I don't blame them. But if water is getting under there, it's creating conditions mold absolutely loves. And usually the water isn't there by accident. There's always a reason. Maybe it's your gutters, maybe it's your grade, maybe it's a plumbing leak, maybe it's all 3. Our job is figuring out why it's there. Sign number 5, discolored wood or strange growth. If you ever look under your house and you see dark stains, white growth, black spots, yellow, fuzzy material, or anything that just doesn't look right, don't ignore it. Now, not every stain is mold or fungal growth, and not everything that looks like mold is mold. That's why proper inspection matters. I've seen homeowners panic over something harmless, and I've seen homeowners completely ignore something serious. That's why experience matters. Sign number 6, your house is brand new. This one surprises people. I've remediated mold in brand new houses before the sheetrock was even hung. Brand new construction, brand new mold. What happens is materials get wet during construction, the house sits, moisture gets trapped, and mold starts growing before anyone moves in. So don't assume new construction automatically means you don't have moisture problems. I've seen too much to believe that. Sign number 7, you haven't looked in years. Honestly, this might be the biggest sign of all. When was the last time somebody inspected your crawl space? Not just walked by it, not poked their head in the door, but actually inspected it. If it's been years, there's a good chance you simply don't know what's happening under there. And most mold problems start small. A little moisture, a small leak, a drainage issue, then a few years go by and suddenly you've got a major problem. Why do some mold remediations fail? Now here's the part that frustrates me. A lot of homeowners finally discover they have mold growth. They hire somebody, they spend money, 6 months later the problem's back. And the reason is simple. A lot of companies focus on killing mold. I focus on figuring out why it showed up in the first place. In North Carolina, you don't even need a license to do mold remediation. And unfortunately, there are companies that come in, spray chemicals, and tell you that the problem's solved. Real remediation means treating the source of the problems and not just the symptoms. Fixing the moisture source, creating proper containment, using negative air pressure, physically cleaning affected surfaces, following industry standards, documenting the work. It's slower, it's more work, but that's why we rarely have to go back. I've always believed in doing it right the first time. I spent 25 years building houses before I got into this side of the industry. And one thing construction taught me is this: you can do it right the first time, or you can find time to come back and do it again. If any of these warning signs sound familiar, or you're just wondering what's really going on underneath your house, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll be happy to answer your questions and point you in the right direction and help you figure out whether you've got a problem that needs attention or you just need some peace of mind.